Politics alert. Wah, wah, wah. Welcome. For those who don't know, my name is Taylor, and I know it doesn't look like I have an independent, nonpartisan stance. Sitting here with a Kamala hat. I understand that. But ultimately, she was right. If you think about some of the things that she warned America about. And I think it's because she was deeply informed about the threats someone like Donald Trump posed to our country. Oh, wait. Politics alert. Wah, wah, wah. Sorry. Civic engagement is really what it is, if you think about it. Politics is what parties do. Civics is what people do. Think of it like that, okay? And we as people are citizens of our country, and we should participate in civics. Again, politics is what parties do. Just don't forget that. And I'm not a part of any party. I solely sit behind the ideas of the United States Constitution. And one thing I want to speak to today is the 14th Amendment and something called the Due Process Clause. I think it's important that people understand that the Due Process Clause gives people, not just citizens, but people, rights to the Constitution, specifically the Bill of Rights. All right? So the specific clause basically says, not basically, it is, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process. That's the line. And what makes our country great, at least what used to make it great, is that that line was applied to people, not just the citizens of this country. It also incorporates the Bill of Rights. Okay? And what that means is, a great example is a local school board cannot put the 10 Commandments up in school because the Bill of Rights is incorporated. So even though the First Amendment says Congress shall make no law establishing a religion or the free exercise thereof, right? Because Congress makes legislation, right? That's the theory. So they're saying, well, you can't stop them, and it's Congress, right? The exercise, there's several sides to this argument. But if you break it down by constitutional law, the 14th Amendment, that due process clause, incorporates the Bill of Rights. I keep saying that. And what that means is that it's not just Congress, it's all levels of government are incorporated into the Bill of Rights. So that means that school boards, that means city council, that means state governments, right, cannot incorporate a religion. Okay? So the United States is not a Christian nation as much as people want you to think it is, right? Those like the great Charlie Kirk. No, he wasn't. It wasn't great at all. Those at Turning Point want to tell you, young people, not to go to college. You want to know why? Because when you go to college, you learn to think critically. And they want a society of people who don't think critically. That's the goal. So they've already got a generation of people, maybe 2 generations of people who aren't thinking critically, hence why Trump is in office a second term. And no, he didn't win in 2020. The evidence is not going to come out because it's already out. Okay? If you want a good analogy for this, if you think of challenging an election, like throwing a red challenge flag in football, okay? Donald Trump challenged it 60 times in court, so he threw the challenge flag 60 times. The refs, the judges, said, no, there is no mass voter fraud. There is voter fraud, yes. And voter fraud is different than voter suppression. Now, the voter fraud is immaterial, which means that no matter how much the little bit that there is, it's not going to impact the overall outcome of the results. Immaterial. Okay? It's an important word. So, now voter suppression is different. Voter ID is voter suppression. You don't believe me? What happens is that people don't know the laws because of ignorance, right? And you could be, don't blame them. We're talking about a constitutional right. We're not talking about a privilege, right? Driving a car, going to buy alcohol, those are privileges. Voting is a constitutional right. It's a huge difference. So you can argue voter ID all you want. It's voter suppression. When you register to vote, that's all that you should have to do because you're proving that you're a citizen right there. That's it. Here in Arizona, you get an additional card. And then when I go and vote at a poll, I got to show my ID. And all that does is it stops someone pretending to be me to vote on my behalf. And if you think about it, if you give, a week or two of a time frame for people to vote, if someone did vote on your behalf, you can have time to challenge it. Why do you think they want 1 day? Right? 1 day to go vote. That's insane. First of all, you don't want that. If you want as many people to vote as you can get, which is what I want participation rates to be high. The lower the participation rate, the crazier your government gets because the smaller amount of people have a larger voice. And that government now controls our lives. Right? Just think about it. Boys and girls can't even play sports together. The federal government says, no, you can't do that. Think about it. Think about it. It's fucking stupid. All right? So voter suppression is different than voter fraud. So when I say voter fraud is rampant, that's not true. So back to the analogy, right? Donald Trump threw the flag 60 times. Judge says no. There's no evidence to support your case. What happens? He overturns and runs onto the field with his supporters, trying to change the results of the scoreboard, right? So when people go, the Democrats challenged elections too. Yeah, they threw a challenge flag. And the judge says no. They accepted the results. Huge difference. And on top of that, Donald Trump orchestrated a fake elector scheme in 7 states. And you can just Google it. Just Google 2020 National Archive fake elector ballots. Bam. And then look up the real ballots for the Electoral College, and you'll see all 50 states, and then the fake ones, you'll see 7 states. And that's what Donald Trump was being charged for. And that's why he's an illegitimate president right now. Arguably, he could have been illegitimate the first time, but this time for sure, he's illegitimate. Even if you think because we voted him in, he violated his oath to the Constitution. And if anybody ever violates their oath to the Constitution, they should no longer be able to hold office. Why do you think they were trying to stop him from being on the ballot? Because he violated his oath to the Constitution. He was facing 700 years in jail. Kamala was right. All right, so I'm not great at guitar. I know a lot more about civics and politics, like a stupid ass word, than I do guitar. But just bear with me on the guitar. I'm going to play some guitar for a few minutes. America, I love you. I appreciate you. And laters. Enjoy. Again, I'm no good at this. but I appreciate you